Okay, let's take it to the next level. We can simply add records to our Elasticsearch index by calling eloquent save or create method. Uh, so let's take an example. Okay, I'm going to define a route. It's get, it doesn't matter the name actually, but I'm going to say store, and in home controller the method is going to be store. And in my post, I'm going to make sure that I have already used searchable from Laravel Scout searchable because it's required in order to sync our model with our Elasticsearch index. And in the home controller, I'm going to say public function store is going to be, I know because in it's very common to actually say request and blah blah blah, but I'm going to handle it with within my method actually. So I'm going to say post is equal to new post. It's one way to do it. And as you hopefully remember, our post has two main columns, title and price. So I'm going to say title is equal to eloquent title, and post price is equal to, let's say, 500. And just by calling save method, you're gonna see that it'll add this record to our uh, Elasticsearch index, to our post index. And in the end, I'm just gonna say done. No need fancy responses, just for now. All right. So all right, the next step is to actually run our server to have the browser to run this method. So before that, I'm going to mention that I have already flushed my index. So if I go over here and hit refresh, as you can see, my post index has nothing in it as document, and my phpMyAdmin shows that I have no records. Okay, if you have on Docker, you can simply load up your server. If you have on XAMPP, MAMP, or any other virtual machines, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to make it as simple as possible and say and run a simple PHP server. So with the port of 8080 and public index.php, because that's where our application starts. Okay, if I go over store and hit enter, it says done. But let's take a look at what's happened. Okay, if I refresh, as you can see, the record has been successfully created in our phpMyAdmin. But what about our index? If I hit refresh, hopefully, okay, let's take a closer look. I go over here and refresh. Okay, you see it's updated to 1. Sometimes by hitting refresh on the browser, our index may not be updated. So for that, I'm going to select it and go over here to manage and hit refresh index manually just to get refresh data. So tada, I guess. Let's say congratulations, because simple by a simple method, by a simple eloquence method actually, we have managed to add our record, our eloquence record, to uh, Elasticsearch index. So I can simply say eloquent title 2, and this one is going to be 1000. And if I hit enter, it says done, and I get the eloquent title 2. And if I hit enter, I hit refresh actually, and go over here to manage and refresh, document counts is 2 now. Okay, in the next one, we are going to talk about updating our records, and but something worth uh, telling you is that you can simply go to your scout.php. Let's take a look at that actually. And if you simply search queue, as you can see, the queue is equal to false. But if you want to, if you have a huge amount of operations and you want to uh, actually chunk the results queries, you can simply through, let's say, through this queue and configure your queue driver and make use of queuing your operations. So this will be performed in the background by your queue worker. That's an option too. All right. In the next one, as I said before, we are going to talk about updating records both in Eloquent and Elasticsearch Index.